Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. This is weird, I haven't done this for a week and I'm already like, oh, what am I supposed to do? Anyway, my name's Stacey. If anybody is new and joining me here, my eyelashes are hitting my glasses. My name is Stacey. If anybody is new and joining me here for the first time, thank you so much. So today's video is going to be my Q&A response. I have asked twice now and I have finally found a way to call up my old questions that people have asked me, so that's what we're going to do for today. It's so weird, I haven't filmed a video in almost 2 weeks, because I didn't do one last week and it was a bit weird, like setting up the camera and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, this is like what I do. So anyway, let me go straight into the questions. The first question said, you said you don't use serums. How do you combat dry skin in winter? So I don't really have very dry skin. I'd say that my skin was more normal to combination. In the winter, I just tended to use like a heavier moisturizer and maybe do like a few more face masks during the week if I remember or get the chance. But now I am actually going to try serums because I've had some brilliant interactions on my IG lives on Sundays with some of you guys, and you told me that serums are actually more effective, because I'm not a skincare expert. I know about makeup, but I don't know about skincare. Not really, and especially because my skin has never really given me a problem. So I'm going to look into serums and see if that is more beneficial to my skin. Okay, next question. Somebody asked me why my son is so cute. That is a brilliant question, and one I cannot answer impartially, so I don't know. I think he's adorable as well. I have no idea why he's so cute. Right, how different are the skills/techniques for makeup on more mature skin? In-store MUAs just seem to cake it all on. That's by, maybe people don't want me to reveal their names. I won't tell the names, but that's a really good question. I think it's really important with more mature skin to make sure that you are really investing in skin prep and making sure you're getting the skin to as good a place as it can be before you start makeup. That's the first thing. I think it's really important, especially with more mature women, and like, let's just generalize and say I'm talking about people that are over 60, 55, 60. Spend time on your investigation, because these women know what they want. They've been in their bodies for a long time and they're not shy to say when they don't like something, and you don't want to have invested all that time doing a makeup and then realize, shall I say, at the end that they're not happy with what you've done. That's quite deflating. So I'd make sure you spend time doing that. And let's just say that we're talking about mature skin in general, because there are some people that are in their 60s that look like they're in their 30s, but we're talking about women who are in their 60s that look like they're in their 60s or older. I would say it's really important to pay attention to texture in makeup, especially with eye products and foundation and concealer actually. I think the skin sometimes isn't able to wear as heavy product. So like in regards to like thick concealers and bases, make sure that you're really paying attention to that, because it will show up fine lines and it will sit in fine lines more. Also with shadows, I kind of tend to go like down the middle. I don't go super matte or super shiny. Because in general I feel like they show up fine lines faster or more on the eyelid, depending on my client though, because I might have a woman who's a die-hard like silver eyeshadow glittery type of person, and they're not going to change because I don't think it's the most flattering for them. It makes them feel the best, and that's the most important thing. So I'd say, yeah, I think they're pretty much my tips for doing more mature skin. I hope that answers your question. Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, this is a good question. Favourite parts of being a makeup artist and what's the hardest part? So, my favourite part is I love that my job forces me to look for the good in people, forces me to look for beauty, right? So when somebody sits down in my chair, whether it's a trial or I'm on a job or whatever, I'm always thinking like, how can I enhance this person's beauty? How can I make them see things that I think are beautiful in them that they may not have necessarily seen before? And I love that there's always something. That's the thing that I love the most about my job. There is always something beautiful. There's always something you can find on someone's face that's like, oh, that's your thing, you know? That's your signature. That's what makes you unique. So I love that. I love that I get to make people feel good and it radiates, you know? It's not always just the person you work on. There have been so many times at weddings that I've done, and my brides have been so sweet and invited me to the reception, and the husband will come up to me afterwards and be like, she looks amazing, thank you. And for me, I don't know why. Well, actually, I do know why. men don't wear makeup, or most men don't wear makeup. So for them to appreciate what you do is like, oh, like a guy can tell. Women, we're used to wearing makeup and we see it all the time. And it's kind of like the world that we live in, but guys generally don't. So when someone's husband comes up to me at their wedding and tells me that I've done a good job, I think, yeah, that's pretty awesome. So I love that. And what would be the hardest part? That's a good question too. What's the hardest part? I think the hardest part now for me, I think I've been doing this like 14 or 15 years. No, yeah, about 15 years, coming up to 16 years. Geez, I'm getting old. But the hardest part for me is that there's a lot of competition now, and it's I find it difficult to, not difficult, but I think it's harder to show that you're a makeup artist because there are so many makeup enthusiasts parading as makeup artists. I just feel like sometimes it's harder to differentiate yourself because there's so many people in this field. Like when I first started, it was popular, but it wasn't like how it is now. So sometimes it's hard because people will like ask you for a quote for your rate and you tell them and they're like, oh my God, that's so much. I can get someone to do it for £70. And I'm just like, this is not my side hustle. This is not my hobby. So I find that quite difficult. I also feel like sometimes people can judge you by your kit. My kit's clean. That is a non-negotiable. Like hygiene and cleanliness is like number one. But I find it more impressive being able to do stuff with a little rather than having like your house in a suitcase and proving your validation as an artist through having a massive kit. I'm not that person. I don't need a lot. I'm really, really good at utilizing what I have and making sure that my client always looks amazing. So I find that can be quite difficult as well. But really and truly, I don't really find anything that hard. Otherwise, I wouldn't still be doing it after all this time. So yeah, I think that's it. I hope that answers your question. Let's get to another one. This is a brilliant question. I loved when I got this one. How would you describe yourself to a blind person? That is a really, really good question. And I am a little bit like unsure of how to answer it. So it would be different. I guess if it was somebody that had been born blind, I think my description would be more about my personality and my character rather than about what I look like. Because if you've never seen the colour brown, there's no point telling somebody you're brown. So if I had to describe myself to a blind person, I would say that I was tall, because I think you can still have an understanding of height and slim. I would say, describe, can I let them touch my hair? If I could, I'd let them touch my hairstand. I'd say like I have dreads, so they know what my hair's like. And I would say that my character is like, I'm quite a bubbly person. I am an introverted extrovert. Yes, I think that's the way to describe it. Like, I spend a lot of time on my own, especially because I am mostly at home with our son. So I like my own company, but I also love people as well. And I think maybe that's why I like doing YouTube, because it feels like I'm connecting to people, but like in a safe way, because I can edit all the crappy bits out of my video and stuff like that. So I would say that I'm quite a sociable person. I love helping people. I generally really do like helping people. I like making people feel good. I like having a laugh. I love to eat a lot. I would say that I was a kind person and considerate, but then I also can be a bit of a bitch sometimes, if I'm being really honest, because that's what I'm all about. I can be, and I don't like that part about my character. That's the part that I try and keep in check the most. Sometimes, or not sometimes, I am quite a stubborn person as well. I like things to go my own way. What else would I say about myself? Yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question. How would you guys describe me to someone's blind? That would be quite interesting to know. Leave a comment. I'd like to know. I don't know if I did that properly, but that's kind of what I have. So yeah, let's move on to the next question. Have I ever lived outside the UK? Kind of. I lived in New York State, not city. Don't get excited. For Oh God, how long did I do that for? Was it 2 months or 3 months? No, I think it was 2 months. I did Camp America when I was 18. But that's the only time I've ever lived outside the UK. Okay, favourite moisturiser. Favourite moisturiser. I've used lots of moisturisers in my life, but I think the one that I have used the most often is Have a Nice Day from Origins. I just really like that moisturiser. It always kind of sits well on my skin, so I'd say, yeah, that's that one. Did I ever wear an afro? Yes, I did. For a short while before I don't know if it was in between like braids or before I think it was in between braids actually. I used to wear like my afro. I'm going to look down here so I can get my hands in the right place. So yeah, my hair was like this big all the way around. And I loved it and I hated it. I loved it because it just looked cool. Like it was just so empowering having an afro. But the maintenance of an afro is so much work. You have to braid your hair down every night. And then you always have to have a comb with you because if you're on a bus and you put your head back, the shape of your afro squashes and you've got to pick it out again. Well, my hair anyway. So it was too laboursome, too much work. So now I have this hair, which is much easier. But yeah, I did have an afro and it was fun. Okay, next question. More kids planned? Yes. One day when the time is right, definitely more children. I want to have 3 kids and I have 1 at the moment, so I've got a bit of work to do, but yeah, definitely more kids in the future. What has been the most fun or interesting makeup jobs I've worked on? Oh, that is a good question. You guys have, that's a really good question. I've got some really good ones this time round. My favourite job. Oh, one of them was a long time ago, maybe like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I worked on the clothes show live in Birmingham and I think it was one of the first times I'd gone away for a job. And I had no husband or kids then, so I was loving it. And I just loved the creativity. It was a lot of hard work, but it was really good fun. And I loved the makeups that I was doing on that job. So that was really, really nice. I really enjoyed that. And then I went to Sierra Leone one time for a client's wedding. And that was cool because I had never been. And oh my gosh. So I was there for 5 days, which is cool. And I became like friends with my bride's friends. So we used to hang out and go on like trips during the day and I just loved it. It was a really, really lovely wedding to work on and it was a really beautiful country to go to. And yeah, it was stunning. So that was I really loved that job. I'm trying to think of other ones. And then another job that I loved, which is one that happened more recently, was when I worked on Dumbo, the film Dumbo, because I was away from home for a month. And it was a really cool makeup that we were doing in the film. That was really fun, really, really fun because everybody was away from home. So it kind of like they all became your family after a while and that was lovely. So I think they have been my favourites, my most interesting. I'd say they were really interesting as well, but I'm trying to think of stuff that I've done that's really odd. And at the moment, my brain is blank. I don't think I've done any odd jobs. Oh, I remember this one job though. I went to Paris Fashion Week. This was a long time ago as well, maybe like 10 years ago. And I missed my flight to Paris. So I was booked to go on this job and they had paid for my flight and I can't remember. I think we were in and out the same day. I don't think I stayed over on this particular trip. But I was like paired up with 2 other girls to go to Paris and we were supposed to get a taxi together and blah, 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 blah. I don't know how I managed. This doesn't happen to me anymore because I don't mess around when it comes to flying. But I got to the airport and the plane was there, but they wouldn't let me board. Like they'd shut check-in. And I was absolutely crapping myself because I couldn't miss this show. So I then had to pay out of my own pocket for another flight, and I was supposed to get a taxi with these girls. And when we got to Paris, it was like, I don't know what time it was in the year, but there was like hardly any taxis around because it was like some kind of holiday period. I don't speak French and I was really young, and I was just like, oh my God, how am I going to get there? But I got there in the end. But that was the most stressful job of my life. And I thought I had got away with it, but then the guy who was keying the show was just like, why didn't you arrive with these people? Like, it's a good thing you made it to the show, but because you would have been in big trouble if you weren't here. But yeah, that was, that's a job I would never forget. So yeah, that was quite stressful. Right, let's see what other questions we have here. What are you expecting to be when... Okay, let me just start that again because I cannot speak. What are you expecting from becoming a YouTuber? And what is your advice for someone who wants to start a channel? That's a good question as well. Okay, so I would say, what am I expecting? To be honest, not really much, because I feel like a lot of people get into YouTube with this idea that they're going to become millionaires overnight, and it doesn't happen like that. Mine is more about creating a community of women who kind of get the kind of makeup style that I like and I feel is missing from YouTube, because I don't really see channels like mine. And also for me, it's been like overcoming a fear, because I was supposed to do this like 9 years ago, and I was just so afraid of judgment and what people would say and think about me that I put it off and put it off and put it off until I just couldn't ignore it anymore. So I started. So yeah, it's also about facing a fear for me. So that's definitely what I have got, or what I have learnt from being on YouTube. And the advice I'd give to anyone who wants to start a channel is just start one. You know, if it's something that you love to talk about or you love to do, just do it anyway. They're like they say all the time, there's nothing new under the sun. So don't compare yourself to other people. Don't try and copy content. Don't try and be like anybody else. Just be yourself. That being said, my channel may change name and diversify in the future. I've been thinking about this a lot recently, because I don't know if only talking about makeup is all I want to do on my channel, but I've kind of limited myself by putting beauty on the end of my name. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I just say, just be yourself. If people don't like you for you, I think that's better than people not liking you for someone who you're pretending to be. And like, how long can you pretend to be that person for? Eventually you're going to get tired and you're going to have to give it up. So yeah, I think that's the advice I would give. Okay, any more questions? Let's see what else I have here. Oh, this is a brilliant question. How do you manage self-doubt? Manage is a really good word. I don't know if I do manage self-doubt. I think I ignore it, or I try to ignore it as much as possible. I don't know, but like for me as a Christian, I believe that self-doubt is like the opposite of how God wants us to feel. Like he wants us to be sure of ourselves. So I just have to tap into that when I'm having those moments, because I do have them. And I don't know if I come across as really confident on Instagram or really confident on YouTube, but it's a lie, because a lot of the time I do suffer with self-doubt, and I feel like, am I doing the right thing? Am I good enough? All those questions come into my head, but I just have to remember that there is a reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, and even though I may not understand it or see the fruits of why I'm doing what I'm doing now, I have to just keep pushing on and remember what it was that initially drove me to do this and commit to this. And when I'm having moments of self-doubt or feeling like, nah, this isn't really for me, just to lean into God and to lean into that. So yeah, that would be my answer to that question. I just want to know what your phone is. Your IG stories look incredible. It's just an iPhone 8 Plus, nothing fancy. That's all. So there you have it, guys. That is the conclusion of my question and answer session. I hope it was interesting, because it's, I don't know, are people going to sit through me answering questions? Who knows? But for the people that asked for this, I think it's fair that they get their video too. So I thought I would do this week. Let me know if you have any other questions you'd like to ask. Maybe I can do another one in the future. That would be quite cool. Also, if you have any ideas of videos that you would like me to do for you guys, I would love to hear your suggestions. So please leave me a comment. Or, oh yeah, you can head over to my Instagram And if you didn't know, on my Instagram on Sundays, I do a live Get Ready With Me at 9:30 GMT. So if you want to see me do makeup in real time and ask me some questions and just hang out, that's where you'd find me. I'll leave my handle for you here. Ooh, I almost forgot to say that. Yeah, that's the end of this video. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!